We are back. Thanks to Marianne for coming in. Mike Kapos, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. Downeast Coffee Guru. Are you what's your official title?
Official title is VP of Sales and Marketing, but I'll go with Guru.
Guru.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Guru is a cool
I
name.
like that.
We have the food czar on from Commerce from time to time. I want to be the food czar. I do always question whether it's the CZAR or the TZAR. I'm not really sure.
I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, one's Russian, one's
Okay.
Anglified. Downeast Coffee, kind of a staple, right? You're the locally owned guys. You're the, Autocrat's now owned by some foreign power, right? Aren't they owned by the Brits or something?
I think so.
Yes, and they're trying to get revenge on us because we beat them in the war. But Downeast Coffee is homegrown, Pawtucket based.
Pawtucket based, 65 years. My grandfather started the business, 1953. So we've been around a while.
And you do everything. Walk through the different business lines. Probably best known by restaurateurs as being that supplier and office coffee and a million other things. Walk through all the different lines.
Our bread and butter is sourcing, roasting, delivering, roasted coffee products to restaurants, coffee shops, any food service establishment all over New England. So we have a couple of different lines. Our signature line, which Josh has here. We have a reserve line that's micro roasted, organics, fair trade coffees, and then kind of the new kid on the block the last couple of years has been cold brew on tap. That's an exciting product that's just kind of come out of nowhere and is, already 6% of our business.
It's already 6%. Yeah. It's really remarkable how that just sort of reinvention of an existing product into a transformation, and it is a different product. It tastes different. It's a different jolt. It's incredibly smooth. Talk about how you decided to enter into that. You guys must have been, nice and comfy over there in Pawtucket, pluming and spreading the goodwill throughout northern Rhode Island. How did you enter into that market?
Yeah, well, as you said, cold brew is not a new product. It's been around a long time. Putting it in a keg and delivering it via a tap system is relatively new, or at least the popularity of it. So a lot of our customers were, they wanted to do cold brew. They wanted to have it in their cafe or their restaurant. So we saw the need to, do it ourselves consistently using our QC, get it in a keg and deliver it to the customers, and it just took off.
How many different locations are you now supplying with that product?
With the cold brew product? Yeah. Probably a few hundred locations. Yeah, all over New England.
And that's a whole different infrastructure to be able to support that as well.
Yeah, service, nitrogen gas, troubleshooting, branded kegs, keeping them refrigerated. It definitely was a learning process, threw us for a loop, but it's been a really fun product. It's a delicious product. I think we have the best cold brew around.
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor.
We've been doing it a while now, probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we had folks from your place on right when we launched 2.5 years ago. There are offices that take it.
There are. We don't typically supply offices. We typically will sell to an office coffee provider, and then they will go into offices. But we certainly have, a handful of offices.
It's only the elite, though, right? It's like Providence Equity and Fleet Bank. Oh wait, Fleet's gone. That building's empty now. Citizens Bank. We'll go with Citizens Bank. How far is that creating new business opportunities for you, right? It's taking you and modernizing the company and the brand, I think, in a lot of ways. Is it creating a whole new sort of opportunity to have conversations with a different group of businesses?
Offices or cold brew?
Cold brew. Is that being able to?
It definitely is. It's increased our product lines. We're not just kind of this one-trick pony. You've got cold brew, micro roasted coffees. We really have a pretty dynamic range of products. So So you might be satisfied with your coffee supplier for your whole bean coffee, but maybe they don't offer cold brew, or maybe you like ours better. So it does allow you to find different angles and see what people like.
Where do you go next? What's the next big plan?
Wow, the next big plan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on. I think it's a combination of a few things. I mean, we're really good at partnering with cafes. Our kind of informal internal slogan is, find a coffee partner, not a coffee supplier.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just drop off a case of coffee at your door. We want to work with you, develop your coffee menu, your offerings, and really focus on training. You can botch a coffee pretty easily right at that last part of making the cup for somebody. So we want to train staff and get people being consistent with coffee. So it's focusing on the cold brew, possibly bottling it. Our retail presence in grocery stores is growing. We do a lot right in the state, but we're trying to grow outside the state as well. So that's another angle. It's a channel that's growing.
How far can you supply right now with your existing infrastructure? I mean, can you go to Portland, Maine?
Yeah, so
Bangor, Maine?
We're in Bangor, Maine.
You're in Bangor, Maine.
We're all over New England with our own trucks and our
Jackman, Maine, right on the Canadian border at the tip top of Maine.
So we use some food distributors to get us up that high.
You're flying that in.
But we are up on the Canadian border.
Yeah.
Presque Isle, Caribou.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's far.
Those are planes with pontoons to be able to get it up there.
In the winter, it's delivered via snowmobile.
That's awesome. You should do a little story on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. Kate can go up there and do a GoLocal live off of a snowmobile in Presque Isle, Maine. Third generation, launching new product lines. How do you manage both taking care of and doing a great job on your core business and launching sort of new product lines simultaneously?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You definitely don't want to have any of your core business suffer, but you do need to plan for the future, because if you're not adapting and evolving, you're going to be left in the dust, and your
You
core
don't do
business is
those.
gonna
You don't
dwindle.
do those silly pumpkin coffees, do you?
We do.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
we do.
They're fan favorites here at
Pumpkin
GoLocal.
spice
Oh, God.
gets more and more popular every single year. I think a couple of years ago there was a pumpkin flavoring. Nobody could get any.
Shortage?
and
Was there a
there was
global
shortage,
pumpkin flavoring
and
shortage?
You would have thought that people, they couldn't even have coffee. They went kind of crazy.
That's hysterical.
So yeah.
You too are a grad of the Goldman Sachs
I am.
program.
I am.
Talk a little bit about that.
I did cohort 7, which was about a year ago, and it was an incredible program. It was a little bit like going back to school, but in a good way. And it allowed me to step back, reflect on my business, get a lot of great advice from business advisors, from experts, and just kind of work on things that you should be working on, or you kind of know you should do, but it gave me the push to do it.
That's great. You're a family-owned business. They're always more complicated. But, you're also a little bit, I know this space pretty well, you're one of the last man standing of being an independent, New England, third generation coffee roasters. We were talking, I'd worked with both Autocrat back in the day and as well as New England Coffee. Both have sold, to others and gotten absorbed by bigger corporate entities. This gives you an advantage. It gives you an advantage in authenticity, I think, in a lot of ways that others can't match because it's you or, other family members who are making the important phone call to fix the problem or, start the new relationship. How are you managing, and are you doing a good enough job letting people know that that's the point of differentiation?
Yeah, I mean, it is a big point of differentiation, and we are, one of the last companies standing, family owned, and we do drive that home, and we do look for other local independent customers, restaurants, cafes to support us. I mean, we live and die by our local supporters, and it's definitely a point we drive home. It's not enough to to just kind of rest on your laurels and say, well, you should do business with us because of that, but it is a factor. You have to have great coffee, you have to have great service, great customer service, training, and expertise. So you have to have all that stuff, and then with the family-owned third generation, that kind of icing on the cake.
Do you invite customers over for like Thanksgiving meals and Christmas?
No, we have to draw the line somewhere, but
Other than that, Halloween, they
other
can ring
than
the
that,
doorbell?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Duncan doesn't do that. They don't invite you over for Halloween, I'll tell you that much.
It's true.
If in a perfect world, where do you see your growth? Owning New England? Is that kind of is that the game plan? Have I just pierced the secret book, the secret marketing plan for
I
the?
think being a lot more saturated in New England to start, and then beyond. We are dipping down into the New York City tri-state area with a handful of accounts. I mean, we can't yet warrant sending a weekly truck down there, so we're relying on FedEx, but starting to grow outside of New England, as well as getting a lot more saturated here.
Drones? Thinking drones?
Drones would be cool.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
I think it's not far off. Listen, Mike, the guru from Downeast Coffee, I want to thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming in.
Josh.
This was great. Appreciate all the insights. Obviously, we're always excited about locally owned, successful Rhode Island companies. He's got one of them. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll be back at 4 o'clock with the money man, Gary Sass. Gee, not enough to talk about. Impeachments in Washington, State House controversies. We'll see you back at 4 o'clock and talk then. Thanks, everybody.